Welcome to the Deep Dive. We take sources you choose and, well, we dig deep to find the most compelling insights. Today we're doing something a little different. We're diving into the unfiltered, sometimes uncomfortable, but definitely sharp world of stand-up comedy. We're looking at how one performer, Josh Adams, observes modern life.
That's right. Our source today is a transcript from Josh Adams's stand-up set. It's called I Just Realized I'm Racist, and it's from the Don't Tell Comedy YouTube channel. It's pretty raw, very direct, and just packed with his jarringly funny takes on culture, identity, all the everyday absurdities he sees. Adams, well, he doesn't pull punches. That makes it great material for finding some genuine, maybe surprising insights.
Exactly. And our mission, really, is to unpack how Adams uses this, let's say, provocative humor, how he comments on social stuff. We're going to pull out the core nuggets from his jokes, try to understand what he's highlighting, sure, but also how he frames it for the audience. And, by extension, how he frames it for you listening. It's a fascinating look, I think, at how discomfort, when it's, delivered with comedic skill, can actually be a vital commentary. Unvarnished. Makes us maybe look at our own views a bit. So Josh Adams starts his set. He immediately sets this tone of massive change, right? Declares, things ain't the same no more, stuff done changed. Yep. And then, boom, he launches into this wild story. Solar eclipse. Claims that cousins looked directly into it and he gay now. This is his whole life changed. Such a jarring leap, isn't it?
Yeah.
Cosmic event to super personal shift.
Oh, absolutely. And what's fascinating right off the bat is that connection. Grand natural thing, the eclipse, linked to this very specific, comically huge personal identity change. It's classic Adams, really. He builds this absurd cause and effect thing. Then, almost in the same breath, he dismisses, conventional mystical stuff. Astrology. Stupid. He says, I don't base who I date on when they fell out of a vagina. So he gives you this outrageous supernatural claim, then mocks the usual ones.
Right.
It really sets up his style from the get-go. Big, almost superstitious idea, then bam, contrasted with this sharp, cynical dismissal of accepted mystic beliefs. It's his way of questioning why things seem to be changing, even if his own explanation is, well, deliberately nuts.
So the nugget here isn't just the joke itself, is it? It's more about how he's satirizing our need to find explanations, these dramatic, sometimes nonsensical reasons for life's changes, almost caricaturing how we try to make sense of stuff. He draws this ridiculous line, this happened, then this happened, just like maybe some people do with horoscopes, but way more jarring.
Exactly. He's pointing out the absurdity in how we sometimes rationalize a new reality. Personal, societal, whatever, by mashing up the profound, like the eclipse, with the ludicrous his cousin's sudden change and then dissing the usual mystical stuff. He's actually shining a light on how we construct meaning, and maybe how flimsy that can be when something truly unexpected happens. It kind of primes the audience, doesn't it, for a mind that sees weird connections everywhere.
And speaking of unexpected, this is where the title of his set, I Just Realized I'm Racist, really clicks in. Adams talks about being totally fucked up. Why? Because a white guy, Matt McClung, won the NBA dunk contest. And crucially, it happened in February, Black History Month. He takes this, seemingly straightforward sports thing and just layers it with race, culture, personal reaction. It's a powerful setup. What does that do for you, the listener, right away?
Oh, it's a critical moment for getting his comedic angle and how he handles uncomfortable truths. Adams describes McClung looking like a barista from Starbucks, but then jumping at the gym, beating taller black players. The comedy is purely from his disbelief. He gets hyperbolic, questions the physics of it. Is this Teen Wolf, he asks, or did Elon Musk find a way to turn white privilege into kinetic energy and y'all can fly now?
What?
These crazy analogies voice his internal struggle. And what's really sharp is connecting his feeling fucked up to how they felt when Obama won. It flips the whole expectation. He's showing his own cognitive dissonance, right? Confronting maybe unconscious biases about race in sports. He's definitely not endorsing racism. He's using self-deprecating humor to explore his own gut reaction, his surprise when something challenged his expectations.
That's a really bold move, though, putting his own potential bias out there like that, making himself the butt of the joke. What does that style, that kind of self-deprecating, almost confessional thing let the audience do that maybe a straight-up critique wouldn't? Does it disarm you enough to maybe look at your own knee-jerk reactions?
Absolutely. I think the nugget there is exactly that. How self-deprecating humor, especially about something sensitive like racial bias, can be incredibly disarming. By literally calling himself the racist in the title, Adams lets the audience laugh with him at how absurd his reaction is. You don't feel lectured.
Yeah, not at all.
It creates a safer space for thinking about it. It lets us admit, okay, maybe we all have unconscious biases, assumptions that get shaken up sometimes. He's basically saying, look how ridiculous my gut reaction was, which kind of nudges you to ask, what are my ridiculous reactions when things don't go how I expect? It's really masterful using vulnerability like that to create the short moment of like uncomfortable self-reflection.
Hmm. And speaking of uncomfortable or maybe just plain outrageous situations, he then switches gears, talks about this news story he found absurd. A 30-year-old guy lied about his age, went back to high school to play basketball. Adams paints this picture. The guy's hooping and fucking these kids up, dropping 40 points on some adolescents. The sheer nerve and the obvious age gap, that's what he zooms in on.
Yeah, and what's fascinating is Adams' focus. It's laser sharp on the glaring details, the stuff everyone involved somehow missed. He jokes, why did nobody notice that Morgan Freeman was leading this team? Perfect visual, right? Captures the absurdity.
Totally.
And points out the guy drove a semi-truck to school, had a CDL, a commercial driver's license. Adams Cups, this ain't no elective, you're an entrepreneur. It's his way of shouting, how could you miss this? These huge signs of adulthood. He even gets into this crude but, wow, vivid distinction. Urinals. Kids pee Capri Sun, adults have Cialis in your system. Oh, it's deliberately grotesque, hammering home these undeniable physical differences that should have been obvious. Makes you cringe and laugh at how absurdly blind everyone was.
Wow, yeah, that's a vivid way to put it. So beyond just the laugh, what's Adams getting at? Our collective blindness, or maybe like our willingness to just go along with something. Makes you wonder how often we miss the obvious in everyday life, you know?
Exactly that. The nugget here is about using comedy to expose that collective delusion, or maybe willful ignorance. Adams uses the story to basically satirize our ability to overlook what's right in front of us, especially if it's inconvenient or fits a narrative we like. He pushes the believable to highlight how preposterous it all was, makes the audience question not just that incident, but maybe how often we accept things without really seeing. It's a comment on credulity, really. And the weird stuff we sometimes just let slide.
Okay, so from collective delusion, Adams then makes this smooth pivot into modern relationships, specifically independent women. He starts off saying, I love an independent woman that got her shit together, sets that up, then pivots to this comedic critique, describes how they love to let you know how much they don't need your ugly ass when they get mad. Lists the achievements, make my own money, drive my own car, got my own clothes, I go to the gun range 3 times a week, I can protect myself, have a bachelor's degree, a master's degree. He's building this picture, right? Ultimate self-sufficiency, total autonomy.
And then the classic punchline totally flips it until she sees a spider. That's where he humorously points out what he sees as this almost universal contradiction. He uses a basic primal fear to deflate that whole image of complete independence.
Right.
But he doesn't stop there. Oh, no. He then dives into this long, very graphic, hyperbolic bit about women using vibrators. The descriptions are vivid, almost aggressive. Remote starters. Drawers growling. He frames these devices as machines Elon and them made up to destroy the human connection, suggesting technology is replacing intimacy, that connection. He uses analogies like cutting hair, compares a woman using one to Magneto, or a Bluetooth-compatible microwave. They're not just crude jokes, though. They're meant to link the tech to a loss of something natural, organic, an over-reliance, in his view, on artificial stuff.
He definitely pushes that observation to an extreme, incredibly vivid, almost grotesque imageries at the point, to shock us, make us think about how technology might be maybe subtly reshaping our personal interactions. It feels like he's pushing things almost to an unsettling place.
I think so. The nugget here is how Adams uses that over-the-top, often crude, sometimes grotesque humor to explore gender dynamics, modern independence, technology's role in intimacy. He's definitely pushing the audience's comfort zone, forcing you to grapple with the awkwardness, the anxieties he sees around these changes, describing these devices with such exaggerated, almost violent language, linking them to destroying human connection. He's provoking a reaction, a conversation maybe about what he perceives as a trade-off. Self-sufficiency, tech convenience versus, genuine human intimacy. He uses humor like a sledgehammer, really. Break through the politeness to get at the raw nerves of dating today.
So today we've taken a deep dive into Josh Adams' unique, completely unfiltered comedic takes, from his reactions to eclipses and dunk contests to adult high schoolers and the complexities of modern independence. He gives us this raw, often uncomfortable, but undeniably insightful lens on society. His humor, it's not just for laughs, is that it feels like it's about making us face the absurd.
Indeed. And while his delivery is, yes, unfiltered, pushes boundaries, his set really holds up a kind of comedic mirror. Reflects back societal anxieties, changing norms, our own biases. He uses hyperbole, self-deprecation, crude imagery, not just for shock, but to spotlight the absurdities, the contradictions he sees. And in doing so, invites us to notice those often unspoken thoughts or reactions in ourselves.
So for you listening, here's the provocative thought we want to leave you with. How do these forms of entertainment, the ones that deliberately challenge us, maybe make us squirm a bit? Like Stand Up with its raw observations, its unvarnished truths. How do they serve as a unique, maybe even vital commentary on our culture? How do they invite us to examine our own perspectives, even when, or maybe especially when, what we hear makes us a little uncomfortable? Or makes us laugh uncomfortably at ourselves? Perhaps those really profound insights, maybe they're often found exactly where we least expect them.